Hey there, Heidi Foy with Bullfrog Creatives. We are back at you for our countdown to the CNFR here in Casper. We've got some special guests today from the Ozark region. We've got two. Listen, this is the first time that we've been able to land both the faculty director and the student director to join us. So you guys are not going to want to miss this. Besides, something tells me it's going to be pretty entertaining. So stick around. All right, we are back. Joining me in the top right corner is JD Van Hoosier. He is the faculty director and the coach at Murray State. And then I also have Chase Graves, who is the student director, attends the University of West Alabama as a grad student. So he's got a few things on his plate. You guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate you joining us. I got some production stuff going, but so, JD, how long have you been faculty director?
I've been faculty director for 3 years now. I've got one more year on my second term as Ozark Region faculty director.
So how does that work? You guys work in terms. I guess I wasn't aware of that. So can you talk to us a little bit about that?
So student director and faculty director are both on 2-year terms, but they're alternating. So this is Chase's last year as student director. We've got another young lady, Sadie Biggs, who will be coming on as our student director next year, and then my term will be up at the end of 22-23. So then we'll see who takes over after that.
So now, will Sadie get an opportunity will she be at the college finals to kind of follow you around? Or is she going to be fresh blood next year?
She'll be fresh blood next year. Yeah.
Poor kid.
Sink or swim. That's how Chase got thrown in here. So,
exactly
indeed.
Right.
Chase, so tell me a little bit about some of your duties and how are you managing grad school, college rodeo? I'm sure that you probably have a job and going to school and being the student director.
Yeah, it's a lot, and it's been a great experience, and definitely something I'm glad that I did. It's a lot going on with school and the rodeos, and then going to other rodeos, and then school and trying to work and stuff. And but it's been good. I'm glad that it's been a good experience, and working with JD's been good.
What is something that you have gained from it that you weren't expecting?
I gained a lot of leadership. I didn't really understand what all went into obviously there was a lot that went into the college finals and putting on the college rodeos, but I didn't understand quite just how complex all of it was. And I gained a little bit better understanding how everything works, and I've definitely gained a little bit of leadership to me.
Yeah, and I think that's something for college rodeo fans, they may or may not be aware at this point. We've talked about it a lot on Bullfrog Creatives, but college rodeo is different from other collegiate sports in that as a student athlete, you have a pretty good say in how the organization is run.
Yeah, we do. And that's one thing that JD's been really good at, kind of letting me call some of the shots, and it allows me to get to talk to some of the other students and see what they would want and what's better for them. And instead of just, maybe some of the coaches coming together and making calls for what's going to affect us as students.
Yeah, for sure. So tell me a little bit about, either one of you guys want to take this, about the rodeos in your area. What area are you guys in specifically? Ozark region, but what does that entail?
Yeah, the Ozark region is the easternmost region in college rodeo. There are 11 regions across the nation, and we pretty much cover the eastern United States from the Missouri and Arkansas line east is pretty well makes up our region. There are 15 or 16 colleges and universities that have their cards that are organized teams, and then we've got independent students from about 4 or 5 colleges and universities who compete in the Ozark region as well. Somewhere around 330 25, 30 competitors in our region who have their NIRA cards. So we cover a lot of territory um, as far as land mass.
Yeah.
Our region is made up of Missouri, Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, South Carolina. We have a school from South Carolina that
Wow.
comes and competes in our region, and we're getting more over the past 4 or 5 years. We've had several new schools
Come
form
on.
teams and come on board. So it's a lot of travel. We're here at Murray State. I'm in Western Kentucky. Um, we're pretty centrally located in the region, so we're pretty fortunate. Of the 10 rodeos that we go to, I have the furthest we have to travel. My students at Murray State is about 7.5 hours. For Chase, you're going to school at West Alabama. About how far is it for you guys to travel?
It's about 10 hours to the furthest one. So
Yeah, yeah. Which is, I mean,
far.
it's not terrible, but it's far enough haul for some of our students.
But for those people that are coming from South Carolina, I mean, that's a trek.
Yeah, they're probably, like I said, Murray State's pretty centrally located. The closest rodeos they have to travel is about 6 or 7 hours, all the way up to the furthest, probably being like 14 or 15 hours for them. But they're pretty committed to it. I mean, they make just about every rodeo. So,
do you think y'all might have the most independent participants?
I don't know. I haven't really looked into that, but we have several of them. We'll have between 5 and 10 independent students rodeoing in our region each year. Yeah.
So you may not know the answer to this question, but what does it look like to add another region?
That's there's been interest in that off and on through the years. I believe the rule book, don't quote me on this, but I believe the rule book says that you have to have 100 or 150, between 100 and 150 student athletes to be able to have a new region. And to honestly, to get that number of student athletes, if a school, let's just say in Florida, there's been some interest through the years for some Florida schools. To get a team organized and start competing, they're going to have to start out competing in the Ozark region until we can get that 100 or 120, whatever it is, number of students up. And then we petition the board, the national board, to see about adding a new region. And that's a lot to go through to get to that point. I'm not saying it can't be done, but I mean, there's going to have to be a concerted effort to make that happen, and it's not going to be an overnight deal. It's not something that I can see happening in the next 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, it limits, I guess, participation maybe in the East Coast, but I suppose if you're wanting to rodeo, then you're going to go where they are anyways.
Yeah, a lot of the students, athletes from the Eastern United States seek out schools, whether it be in the Ozark region or the Southwest or wherever. There are folks who go that want to, if they want a college rodeo, they'll find a way to do it.
Yeah,
but I feel like there are a lot of students who just don't want to leave home or get that far away from home. And if there were some opportunities for them to go to school, say in South Carolina or Georgia or Florida or West Virginia or wherever, I think there would be an interest in it. But you got to realize, a 4-year school, you've got kids who have the opportunity to rodeo for 4 years. To get a program developed and be competitive, it's kind of like starting a new business. You're looking at 5 or 6 years to get it established. And so you have to. One of one of the challenges in the Eastern United States is colleges and universities understand basketball. They understand football. They understand baseball. They don't necessarily understand rodeo. So when you are pitching this idea to a university administrators of starting a rodeo team,
Mhm.
a lot of times they're like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
So there
Yeah.
are some challenges. I'm not saying it can't happen. Obviously, the school in South Carolina, Erskine, was able to do that about 4 years ago, and they're building their team. So it can be done,
Yeah.
but you got to have a champion who's willing to carry that
Right.
banner.
Right. So it looks like we lost Chase, but he is trying to get back in. So I'll add him as soon as he pops back up. And there you go.
There he is.
He's back.
He's back.
So let's go ahead and I'll just preface this conversation. JD is no stranger to the Casper community. He's been involved with the setup and the production into the College National Finals Rodeo for a really long time.
17 years. This will be my 17th year on the setup crew.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
And we've been in Casper for
3, 4,
I was
something
gonna say
like
23
that.
or 24 years.
Yeah.
So that's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So people that are watching on Bullfrog Creatives, so we are streaming on 3 different platforms. We're on the NIRA Facebook page, the official CNFR page, and the Bullfrog Creatives page. We have lost Chase again. I'm wondering if his phone is overheating.
He told me that they were having some bad thunderstorms down there right now. He's in
so that could
South
be it.
Mississippi, about an hour north of New Orleans, in Poplarville, Mississippi.
That
And
could
he said
definitely be it.
they're getting hammered down there right now. So the weather may have something to do with
it. So anyways, you guys may recognize JD. He's been around the community for a little while. He's been around a while. So JD, why don't you, well, hopefully Chase can get back on. If he can't, I might have to track him down during the college finals and we can harass him there.
All right.
Let's go ahead and just pop right into our results here. And we can just start at the top. How many contestants did you tell me was in the Ozark region? How many membership?
Around 320 total.
Okay.
Yeah.
So go ahead and just take off with those results on the men's team.
Yeah. So our men's team champion once again this year, Missouri Valley College, very strong competitors at the college finals each year. Our second place team is University of Tennessee Martin. Once again, both national champion teams, both very strong competitors coming in. John Luthi is the coach at University of Tennessee Martin, and he actually retired this year. This was his 41st year coaching college rodeo at 2 different universities. He was at Fort Scott for 18 years, and he was at University of Tennessee Martin for about 22 years. So 41 years. That's pretty impressive.
That's pretty monumental, I would say.
Yeah. So they'll both have contestants at the college finals. Be pretty strong presence there. They always are. Our women's team, University of West Alabama, the school that Chase goes to, was able to win the women's team title this year. They've got a really strong ladies team that's going to be in the arena at the college finals this year. Really proud for them. They've been working real hard for the past several years to get a team out there, and they were able to do it this year. Missouri Valley College was our second place team on the women's side this year. So again, they're going to be well represented at Casper at the college finals.
Very nice. So while I'm scrolling, JD, talk to me about how you qualify. Like, where do you have to place to qualify for the college finals?
So pretty much the best way to explain it is all of our competitors, we go to 10 rodeos throughout the year. In the Ozark region, it usually works out to be 5 in the fall and 5 in the spring. So our contestants pay entry fees, have the opportunity to win money just like at any professional rodeo in the country, but we're also rodeoing for points. points are paid to the top 6 competitors in the long round, the short round, and in the average. First place is worth 60 points, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10. So if we had a contestant who had a perfect rodeo and was able to win the long round, win the short round, and win the average, they could get as many as 180 points for that rodeo in that event. At the end of the year, the top 3 point earners from each event is who advances on to the college national finals. The way the team points work is the coach of each team in the region, when we send our entries in first part of the week of the rodeo, we have the opportunity to choose 6 men to be on our men's points team out of the pool of contestants. Like this year, I had 45 students on my roster, so both men and women. So I could choose six men to be my men's points team and 4 women to be my women's points team. The individual points that they earn, then if they're chosen, are also points for the team points. So that's our offense. The big deal is everybody else on my roster is my defense. Points that they earn, although we don't get to choose, count them as team points, those are individual points that another team can't get. So everybody in the arena has a big job to do and has a great opportunity to contribute to the team, whether it be a points team member or not. I can't hear you.
There we go. That's a really good way to look at it. I never really thought about it that way.
Right. So yeah, it's a battle to pick the right people because there are so many variables. If just like a football coach knowing who to put in the starting lineup, well, everybody's in the starting lineup in college rodeo because you've only got a short period of time to perform and contribute to the team, no matter if you're entered in one event or if you're entered in 6 events. But like football, they've got 4 quarters to perform. We've got one event and just a flash in the pan to do it. So so picking a team, you're looking at how they've been practicing this week, how their horses are performing, how they're performing, what their mental state is. I mean, there are a lot of variables. So it's not an easy thing as a coach to figure out who to put on your points.
Who to put on there? Yeah, right. No kidding. I think that I thought I was getting a call from Chase, but we're good. I think that's one of the hard parts is the other thing is kind of knowing your teammates, knowing your team members. If you have a contestant that runs barrels and her horse runs really good in a big arena, then you might make that switch.
And that's the deal in the Ozark region. We have outdoor rodeos, we have indoor rodeos, we have covered rodeos, we have small pens, we have big pens, we have sand, we have gumbo dirt. So I mean, and that's just for the barrel racing. Then you have the livestock. If we bring a good pen of cattle to the rodeo, and it's pretty even for everybody, that's wonderful. But if it gets to be a drawing contest, you have that on top of arena conditions. So it's there's a lot of variables in rodeo.
Yeah, for sure. Well, let's go ahead and move on. We got men's all around up.
Men's all around, our top 2 in the men's all around were Cole Franks and Ty Pope. Cole, you'll probably recognize his name from the NFR. He was in the bareback riding this last year and did very well out there in the average. Ty Pope is brother of Jess Pope, who is also an NFR qualifier. So yeah, both of them are very strong competitors. Those are our 2 men's team all around. Moving down to the women's team, we have Heather McLaughlin was our all around woman, and Cheyenne Anderson. was our second or runner up in the all around there. So again, both very strong ladies in the arena. Heather was her team, University of West Alabama, was one of the ones that won the region this year, and Cheyenne. Unfortunately, I'm not up on all their statistics, what year in school they are, and this and that and the other. But both these ladies are bring the heat to the pen, no doubt.
All right. Rolling
Saddle
down.
Saddle Bronc riding, the three competitors we're bringing to the college finals for us this year in the Saddle Bronc riding. Again, Cole Franks, he works two events, bareback riding and bronc riding. He was able to win the bronc riding this year. Strong competitor. We know him as a bareback rider, but he knows how to spur a horse in bronc riding as well. Um, Jack Smithson is a cowboy at University of Tennessee Martin. He's really come into his own this last year in the bronc riding, and he can spur one down. He is definitely one that you need to be watching for. He'll be wearing an orange vest at the college finals this year, and I and I think you'll be happy with what you see there. Our third man in the bronc riding is Ty Pope. Again, Ty works both the bareback riding and the saddle bronc riding. Good Kansas cowboy, rodeos for the Missouri Valley College. And this young man, we're going to be seeing his name in the standings, professional standings, for many years to come, I think.
It's contagious. Telling you.
Allergies, rough back in this part of the country.
Yeah.
Again, in the bareback riding, Cole Franks was able to win the bareback riding in the Ozark region this year. Cole is a Texas cowboy who came up to Missouri Valley to rodeo for Ken Mason up there, and he's really brought a lot to the table for these guys. Obviously, he's an NFR qualifier, and again, I don't get to know these guys as well as some other folks, but Cole is a class act. He's a good guy. He just when he's at the rodeos and he's not competing, you'll see him down there helping out, whether it be pushing cattle, whether it be working the opening gates and the bull riding or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He likes to stay busy, and he's a hand too. He knows where he needs to be in the arena, whether it's in the middle of a horse or in the middle of the arena. So.
Well, and that's another difference. We talked about the difference between other collegiate sports and college rodeo. Yes, all these contestants are competing against one another, and they're also all very good friends. They're working together in the professional and the amateur ranks. So when somebody needs help, like everybody is on board to help one another, and I think that's not really something that you see in other sports.
Right. It's probably there, but it's not as evident as it is in rodeo.
In rodeo, yeah.
And he's in there pitching, encouraging the other competitors because he realizes if they bring the best they have, that's going to encourage himself to bring the best that he has. So and he's happy to see somebody bring the best.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Iron sharpens iron.
Yep. So then the other two in the bareback riding are Ty Pope and Nick Pelkey. Both of them are really strong competitors. MVC had a sweep on the bareback riding this year.
Yes, they did.
And you can see by the points up there, there wasn't a big difference in points earned between third place and first place. You're talking about 1,250 points earned for third place and 1,495 for first place. So
pretty close.
No, not saying that they're not standouts, but again, they challenge one another, and they're all teammates, but they're pushing to be the best there.
Yeah, for sure.
The bull riding this year, Three Rivers College over in Poplar Bluff, Missouri. They got some strong bull riders coming to the college finals again this year. They had two cowboys in the top I think he was in the top 3 at the college finals last year, and Cole Skinder, the number 2 man, I think he was one of them. So be looking for Cole. Casey Lee Roberts was our bull riding champion this year, and Colton Achenbach from MVC was 3rd place. So all 3 of these cowboys, when they're on and riding, you better believe it's going to be some good watching. They're pretty handy. They're pretty handy. They're going to represent the Ozark region well in the bull riding this year. I'm
So
anxious to see.
let's talk about bull riding a little bit. I know clearly it's a fan favorite, always has been. Is there a difference? The kind of stock that you guys ride through your throughout your regional rodeos, is it the similar caliber as what these boys will see at the college finals?
You're going to have some really, really good bulls at the college finals, no doubt. But yeah, the level of competition is pretty consistent in the Ozark region with what you're going to see out there out in Casper this year in the bull riding as far as the livestock.
Mm-hmm.
There, there we've got some stock contractors back in this part of the country, and we don't get a lot of credit for it. But we've got some stock contractors back in this part of the country that haul some pretty darn good livestock. So these boys have been getting on that caliber, what they'll see at the CNFR this year. But these guys are also going to PBRs. They're going to pro rodeos. They're
Right.
going to IPRA rodeos. So they're not just rodeoing at the college rodeo level. They're out there every weekend, taking it up and down the highway.
Right. All right. Tie down roping.
Three Rivers showed up again in the calf roping this year. Colby Krieger was the calf roping champion for the Ozark region. He's goes to school there at Three Rivers in Poplar Bluff. Really good hand, riding a really good horse, and knows how to handle his twine. Clay Living Good and Tanner Brown, both of them East Mississippi Community College Cowboys. They're at Scuba, Mississippi, which is kind of in the center of the state. They'll bring the competition as well. These guys come to win, and there are some very strong timed event cowboys from South Mississippi and South Alabama, or LA, Lower Alabama as they call it down there. And real proud of these young men. They bring the best that they can bring every time, and I'm looking for them to make a showing out in Casper this year. Steer wrestling's always a fun event to watch, and we got some pretty handy cowboys in the steer wrestling we're bringing. Miles Neighbors, salt of the earth young man. You won't meet a nicer young man anywhere. He's from East Mississippi Community College. He won the region this year in the steer wrestling, and then second place was Jesse Kiesair from University of Tennessee at Martin, and Tucker Albers from MVC. These are going to be our three cowboys in the steer wrestling out there this time. And Jesse is a former youth champion, national champion in the high school ranks from a couple years, more than a couple years ago now. But these boys know how to sling some steers, and I think they're going to put on a show out there. I'm anxious to see what they're wanting to do, and what I know what they're able to do. So I just want to see what they got in their bag of tricks.
Yeah. Well, and I think, Jesse brings some good experience. Mm-hmm. We talk about this a lot for first-time qualifiers to the CNFR or rookie qualifiers. If they have the mental game to kind of deal with the environment and the added pressure, a lot of times it's a little too much. I know I wasn't quite ready for it as a contestant, but it's always fun to kind of see who comes out on top.
Well, Jesse and Miles are both pretty seasoned cowboys. They they know what they got to do when they get there, and
Yeah.
they're willing to put it on the line. So I'm anxious to see, and Tucker's no stranger to it either. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to leave him out,
Yeah.
but again, I feel like we're pretty well represented. Pretty
Good
well
deal.
represented.
All right, team roping.
Team roping.
Well, okay, so let me add this too. Everybody that we probably will not mention everyone that's coming from the Ozark region, primarily because of that team component.
Uh-huh.
So some of those, for some of our viewers, some of those people that are points earners on the team may not be in the top 3 in their events. So we won't talk about every person that's coming from the Ozark region, just as a heads up for our viewers.
These are just the top 3 that we're kind of
in the event
showing out here.
Yeah.
Logan Graham and Sidney Dickinson were from Southern Arkansas University over in Magnolia, almost over there on the Texas line, just south of Texarkana, southeast of Texarkana there. They were our team roping champions this year. Both of them very good young men, and if the setup's right, they're going to put the pressure on everybody. They don't mind throwing the rope and making it come tight. So it's going to be fun watching the team roping out there this year. Second place was Mason Terrio and Chase Graves. Chase, unfortunately, we lost our connection with him.
Yeah.
But, both of these cowboys grew up in rodeo. Both of their dads are NFR qualifiers, so they know what it takes to get up and down the road and to be competitive. Again, if the setup's right, I know these young men are going to bring the heat. So, and then our third place team was Cooper Cowan and Cade Cowan. We got a couple of brothers teaming up this time, and they like to see their name written on the secretary's pay sheet. So so it won't be any different at the college finals than it is at any of the regional rodeos or the professional rodeos they go to. They know what it takes to get there, and it's just another rodeo to them. They're pretty solid citizens in the rodeo arena, and they'll bring what it takes to get to the pay window.
Very good. All right, barrel racing.
Barrel racing. Barrel racing is strong in the Ozark region. We have a lot of very good barrel racers. We've got 3 that are qualified for the college finals that have been there and done that. And I'm going to tell you what, if their horses perform in that thin air y'all got up there in Wyoming, you're going to see some cool horses on a small pen like you'll see at the college finals. First and third place, pair of sisters, Jaylee and Tacey Matthews. They are no strangers to professional rodeo and to the winner's circle. They've got one more sister who did not qualify this year that rodeoed with us, but I'm going to tell you what, they are deep in horsepower, and it's going to be a knife fight out there at the college finals. Rebecca St. Martin is a young lady who goes to the school at University of West Alabama. She's from down there around in South Louisiana. Houma, Louisiana is, I think, her hometown. So that's part of that country that got hit really, really hard this year with some hurricanes. But her and her horse can kind of imitate a hurricane too, turning them barrels. I'm gonna tell you what, it's gonna be fun watching Rebecca out there at the college finals this year. So barrel racing is a knife fight at every one of our regional rodeos. The list underneath them is deep and really good competitors and really good horses. So
well, there's a lot of points way down. I mean, there's a lot of points spread.
Yeah. So it's like I said, the barrel racing is going to be fun to watch, and it's getting. Just stay tuned.
So let's talk a little bit about the difference in the elevation. Is there anything that these contestants can do for their horses or with their horses to make that transition a little bit easier?
Well, just like people, I mean that air's thinner up in y'all's
Mhm.
country. You can tell it if you follow me around for a few days while I'm out there. I'm kind of sucking wind out there a little bit, trying to get used to it. But if they leave the house a few days early and kind of make that transition, the trip out, let those horses get used to the elevation
Mhm.
and the altitude and everything, that helps a lot. But but these barrel horses, they the biggest thing that helps them, and every one of these horses, they want to win every bit as much as these girls that are riding them, and
Yeah.
they're going to give their guts to make it happen.
Well,
So yeah, it takes a minute to get used to that. So if they give them the opportunity to be out there a week or so early, that's going to definitely be a a help to them getting used to
mhm.
the elevation and the altitude. But the big deal's heart. The
Yeah.
big deal's heart.
Yeah. And I would say too, draw maybe more so in the barrel racing than many of the other events is pretty important. So for our viewers, all of the first go will be completed by the end of Slack on Monday.
Hmm.
All of the second go will be completed by the end of Slack on Tuesday morning. And then they will start the third go round for the evening performances on Tuesday night. So there is a possibility you're going to run Monday morning, you're going to run Tuesday morning, and you could run Tuesday night for that third go. And I think that in the barrel racing over any other event, that can have a big impact.
Right. And in the barrel racing, they swap the order. So if they're first to go on Monday, they're the last to go on Tuesday morning. And then it's a random draw as to when
When you
they
go.
compete in the performances on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday night. Um, that's where I try to do the best I can. They got me in the tractor seat out there, and I try to get the ground worked and as doing as good a job as um, CJ. Shut up, CJ's tractor driver extraordinaire. Um, um, but but yeah, keeping that ground good is primary. If I can get the ground good for the barrel racing, it's going to be good for all the other events. And and
Yes.
and all in all, we use the same dirt year after year. The dirt is brought into the arena on starting on Monday morning, the week before the rodeo starts, and it's stored out back behind the event center there, and you know it gets run over a bunch, bringing all the panels in, the chutes, and getting them set up. And there's a lot of people on that ground.
Mhm.
But if we can get the moisture correct, and I can have the opportunity to run over it enough, we can get it in really good, order. And usually, knock on wood. I don't want to jinx myself, but usually, the ground's pretty darn good for the barrel racing. Nothing to do with what I have to do with it. I just turn the wheel on the tractor on that cream machine. But yeah, if we can keep it good, and I want to keep it good because I want to
Mhm.
see the girls from the Ozark region show out there, But I
Yeah.
want to see them all from every region. Like you said before, this is about helping everybody out as much as we can help them out. And if you're a rodeo fan, you're not just a fan of the people, you're a fan of the animals.
Yeah.
And when we get to see these animals competing, because whether they're riding bucking horses or roping calves, throwing steers, running barrels, we're going to see a lot of these folks this summer going to lots of pro rodeos.
Mhm.
And there is a very good opportunity to see some of these horses and competitors make it to the NFR in
Yeah, for
December.
sure.
So yeah, we don't want to see anybody taking a chance of getting a horse hurt when they're asking them to give their all. So we want to get the dirt right, and I'm feel pretty confident we're going to be able to do that.
I would agree. All right, scrolling down, breakaway roping.
Breakaway roping, wow! Breakaway roping is the upcoming event in
Mhm.
rodeo, whether it be professional or college rodeo, and man, the competition, the level of competition in the Ozark region, and I'm sure in every other region, is just unreal how fast you got to be just to make it back to the short go. The last four rodeos in our region, it took a 2.7 for 10th, at least a 2.7 for 10th hole to make it back in the short go. A
Man.
couple of the rodeos were 2.5s to make it back. Some 1 second runs were winning some of the go rounds. So it's these young ladies are showing what they are capable of doing in the breakaway roping, and it's that way everywhere. Some of these professional rodeos that they're going to, some of these big jackpots are going. The money's on the line. The two highest entered events in the Ozark region are barrel racing and breakaway roping.
Mm-hmm.
And, we'll see between, and we're not a huge region, but we'll see between 100 and 125 entries in the barrel racing. We'll see between 75 and 85 or 90 entries in the breakaway roping at every one of the rodeos. So it's fun. It's the ladies' events are really stepping up and making people take notice the level of competition.
Mm-hmm.
Ashley Henderson from Pearl River Community College, Chase Graves, who was on earlier, his dad is the coach down at Pearl River, Frank Graves, and Ashley is one of his young ladies who's going to be representing Pearl River Community College at the college final. She was able to win the region this year. Then University of West Alabama, second place with Bethany Stallings. Both of these young ladies know how to score and they know how to rope. And it's like I tell, and all these ladies are like that, but it's like I tell the girls on my team, they hang those good paychecks on them barriers. If you're not running at them cattle, you're not going to be able to rope them fast. So then we had a split for third place. Blair Bryant from East Mississippi and Kenley Raby from Missouri Valley are going to be there. So we're taking 4 people to the college finals in the breakaway this year. Again,
all very close.
Yeah, all very close. And again, there was nobody that stood out that much more than anybody else. So to get to the college finals from the Ozark region, I mean, they had to bring their A game every time, and that's exactly what they did. If you look at points all the way down to 12th place, I mean, they're not.
Oh man,
It's pretty tight. It
yeah,
was anybody's game. One good rodeo could have changed this leaderboard quite a bit. So the breakaway roping was
that's
fun
good
to watch.
watching.
Yeah, really good watching.
All right, goat tying.
Goat tying. Goat tying's always fun to watch at the college finals. We're bringing some good goat tires this year. Heather McLaughlin, who won the all around, she also won the goat tying for the Ozark region this year. Another Pearl River cowgirl, Sarah Booty, from down there around Poplarville, Mississippi, is going to be a strong competitor for us. And then Cheyenne Anderson from out there in Missouri Valley, she finished second in the all-around race in our region this time. So again, some really, really strong competitors and good girls coming to represent the Ozark region out there in Casper for us this year. So we're excited. We're excited to see what our competitors can bring to the table this time.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. CJ just posted, I didn't see this, but 63 breakaway ropers at the CNFR this year, the most of any event.
Yeah, that's exciting. I think you can figure somewhere in the 35 to 40 range in any of the entries in any of the events at the college finals. 63. I hadn't seen those numbers before, but that just goes to show you the competition all across the nation is super, super tight.
Well, and I think that speaks to what's going on nationally at the professional level too for breakaway ropers.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Maybe you have some gal that some young girl that breakaway roped in high school, but knows that the next step is the last step. So then she
Yeah,
doesn't keep going, but she keeps going with barrel racing. I mean, I think the whole game has changed as far as women in professional rodeo now.
absolutely. And there you go. When they stepped the game up and allowed
Mhm.
ladies to start winning some pretty good money at these
Yes.
breakaway ropes,
Equal money.
we saw some folks come out of the woodwork that were at the college finals 10, 15 years ago start beating it
Yeah.
up down the road again. And that just goes to show you. But I'm going to tell you, out there recruiting and going to these high school rodeos, going to these little britches rodeos, these girls are going to some open rodeos and professional rodeos as high school students, and they've got a
And
lot to offer.
competing. Yeah.
So this is not just happening this year or last year. This is going to be happening for the next few years to come, at least, which I think it's going to be many years to come.
So I'm also getting some notifications, some messages from CJ on Facebook. Preliminary numbers for some of the other events, and we'll just run through these.
Okay.
Thanks, CJ. Bareback riding, 38 contestants. Saddle bronc, 38. Bull riding, 31. Tie downs at 44. Breakaway, 63, which we already talked about. Steer wrestling, 41. Team roping, 47. He's slowing down now.
Yeah.
Barrels is 46. Listen, I mean, these are good numbers. And I know, and goat tying is at 52 contestants. So
Yeah.
There was obviously the NIRA had to bounce back. I mean, I think everybody is still feeling the bounce back and the effects of what happened to us in 2020 and shutdowns. And I know memberships were down for a little bit. Do you feel like the Ozark region has picked back up, or
Oh, yeah.
do we
No
still
doubt.
have some growth?
I got my board book last night and was looking at some numbers in the board book, and I think it's growing everywhere. We haven't seen these numbers, and we're still not up to these are not the highest numbers that we've ever seen, but we haven't seen these type numbers in probably 15, 16, 17 years.
Hmm.
So yeah, we're bouncing back.
Mm-hmm.
We want to stabilize that and keep encouraging people to go to college, to get that education, to have the opportunity to compete in rodeo, and take it to the next level if the next level is available to you. But I'm going to tell you, it's exciting to see some of these numbers. Obviously, the ladies events are really a big push in college rodeo and in youth rodeo and in professional rodeo now. I would like to see some of the men's events numbers come up, too. But that's not saying that they're not. They're just not having the big growth
The big growth.
spurts that we're seeing in breakaway roping and even goat tying and stuff. So it's exciting. It's an exciting time for rodeo because
Rodeo in general, yeah, not just
rodeo
college
in
rodeo.
general. Yeah.
Well, and I think, like you mentioned a couple of times, like we're going to see NFR qualifiers compete in Casper in June.
Oh,
not
yeah.
just these guys are your next generation of NFR qualifiers. These are your NFR qualifiers. And
Right.
so just like we talked about Chase early in the broadcast, like these cowboys are going to school. They're college rodeoing, and they're also going to enough professional rodeos to qualify for the NFR. And there's an asterisk by that, because in order for these gentlemen and for these men and women student athletes to be college rodeoing, they have to maintain an academic GPA that fits with the NIRA standards. They have to have a high enough GPA. So they're not just winging it. And they have to be a certain number of academic credits. It can't just be a whole bunch of electives. So, these are the people that are working so hard.
They have to complete those credits. They have to be a full-time student, and according to the college rodeo rule book, and at any school, to be a full-time student as an undergraduate, you got to have at least 12 hours per semester to be competing. As an advisor, academic advisor and stuff, we try to look and encourage our kids to have around 15 hours per semester. That way they're on track to be graduated in 4 years. We don't want to just keep them here and milk them dry. college rodeo is about education and the opportunity to compete in rodeo. That's the reason it says college rodeo. And so these students that come and compete, they've got to be full time students. They've got to pass a certain number of hours and still be a full time student, and they have to have a certain GPA, which is a minimum 2.0. There's lots of cowboys and cowgirls out there that are pushing 3.0 or better. So it's not like they're just coming and doing the work that has to be done. They're taking the opportunity to get that education, to fulfill the requirements, to get that degree, and be able to hone their skills in the rodeo arena so they can go be competitive. And there's different levels. We want to focus on the people that make the NFR. But if it's not for the people who are able to go out there and be competitive and win money, whether they make the circuit finals or the NFR or whatever, those are the cowboys and cowgirls that bring their skills to the pen and make it competitive for everybody else to be competitive. And those are the people that are the lifeblood of rodeo, because if you don't have the entries, you don't have enough for people to go. And with $5 plus gallon fuel right now, and having to travel 6, 7, 8, 10 hours to go to rodeos, I mean, you need those entries. And I think that's what we're seeing. People, it's funny. A few years ago, diesel fuel got high. It's been maybe 10 years ago. Diesel fuel got high in the conversation. Well, they just can't afford to go up to these rodeos, and we saw entries go up. The people that could afford to go to the rodeos found a way to afford it because they believed enough in themselves and in their ability in the arena to go prove it. And that's where what we want to see. We want to see those people that find a way to win, that find a way to compete, that find a way to promote the sport and to promote themselves, and to help their fellow competitors out. If it means going by yourself or getting in the truck with 3 or 4, stack them deep so it'd be cheaper. Get to the rodeo.
Well, Susan Canode just wrote an article for the NFR blog that she writes, I believe, late last week, but nowhere in there did she say cowboys aren't going. She said they're just coming up with different solutions to the problem. They're sharing horses, they're sharing rides, they're carpooling, maybe what rodeos they're entering is a little bit different, but they're still going.
Yeah. Sometimes you can't afford a steak, you got to eat sardines. But if that's what it takes to get there, sardines and saltines ain't a bad meal, Make you appreciate it when you can afford a steak too.
That's right. Absolutely. Well, JD, I appreciate your time. Thank you guys so much for all the live viewers that we have. Again, if you guys are watching live and you have any questions about the NIRA or about college rodeo, about this region in particular, or any region, please just comment and we will get your questions answered as quickly as we can and to the best of our ability. If we don't know the answer, we know somebody that does. So please ask your questions. Again, thanks, JD. I will see you in just a couple weeks, man.
You bet. I'm heading out this weekend, so I'll be in Casper next week. We'll
catch up.
See what we can get into out there.
I'm sure we can find something.
We're sorry you guys didn't get an opportunity to get to know Chase a little better, but if you see him at the college finals, super young man, just stop and talk to him. It will be well worth your time.
And we'll try to, there's a couple of directors that we haven't been able to touch base with, but we'll try to have them on in some way, even if I just ambush them in the hallway.
You bet. Well, thanks for the opportunity. It's been fun. I wasn't sure what I was getting into because this technology stuff is way out of my realm. But
I don't think anybody really knows what they're getting into. But
I'm kind of impressed. The camera didn't break looking at me this whole time.
Listen, if it can handle, well, you know who we've interviewed, so I think we're good. We've really broke it in.
There you go. Thank you, Heidi. We appreciate you. Thanks for what you do.
All right, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Listen, we have a couple of mentions that we want to shout out. Of course, Cinch Jeans, for their partnership and their support of College Rodeo. If you guys are paying attention to any of the social platforms, you know that we've introduced welcomed a couple of new sponsors for the telecast this year. Please make sure that you are supporting our sponsors. We like to support those that support us, so make sure you're paying attention to that. And definitely want to give a shout out to the 3 pages that we are streaming. If you're not following any of them, please go follow. The official CNFR page is on Facebook and Instagram. I think we have a Twitter account. I'm not sure. I'm not much on the tweeting. Yeah, I think I just showed my age there. Go and follow those. Also, the NIRA is back on social media. Make sure you're following the National Intercollegiate Rodeo Association page for any news on kind of general college rodeo information. CNFR stuff, of course, is going to be on that official CNFR page and produced by Bullfrog Creatives. Please follow me. You're going to see a lot of outside the arena stories and more interviews during the college finals and probably have a few giveaways. We do have a few giveaways throughout the year, but make sure you're going and liking because you are not going to want to miss any of the content. You guys, the countdown to the CNFR is coming to a close because it's just about time. We will catch you on Friday. You guys have a good day.
Perfection almost looks easy. But it isn't. Here's to those who go the distance.